Hi everyone, welcome to our session today. Today we're going to be talking about using our pot still. These are fantastically made here in Australia using Kembla copper, silver solder, and like all our copper products are made right here in Tasmania. You can see the pot we're using today is our test version, much like our test version of the Reflux, which doesn't even have a lid on. And yes, it still does work. Today we're going to go through some of the reasons that we would use a pot still. We know that the Reflux gives us the best possible white spirit that we can probably produce, a 93 to 95% ABV with very little effort, and it's nice and easy to use. Why would we then use a pot still to make something that's 65%? Many reasons behind it, and most of them have something to do with the taste that we want to generate. So we're looking at making gins, rums, whiskies, fruit vodkas, anything from maybe fruit derived, where we want the flavour of what we're distilling to come through. Most of us have probably tasted a sugar wash, and it's not very nice, and that's why we wouldn't use a pot still on a sugar wash. We can do, and we get a result of about 65%, but the flavour would be lacking. So today we're going to just run through a quick demo of doing a quick gin distillation. I have put some of the larger botanicals soaking in 40% ethanol, and you can see it's gone quite brown. This is what they call bathtub gin. We could use this. This is quite fine to drink, but the colour, when we have a nice gin, we think of crystal clear spirit, and that's what we're going to generate by putting that through our pot still. So I've soaked the larger botanicals, usually the juniper and the coriander seeds, for about 24 hours. I find that if you soak them longer, they can get a little bit bitter, and a lot of the tannins start being sucked out. If you're looking around at some recipes, you'll see that some of them call for 65% alcohol to be used. If we want to do that, we've got another video showing how to double distill. Basically what we do, we run a distillation with our Reflux, put it through the filter, put it back in the boiler with clean water, and rerun it so that we can get filtered, clean alcohol at the end, which we can then cut down to 65% to use for any other distillation jobs we have, like when we've done our bathtub gin here. All right, I'm going to put that into our clean boiler, and I'm going to top up roughly to about 10 to 15 litres with cold water. I'm going to do that now. You can notice I've got a funnel with a little sieve on the bottom because I want to keep all of the berries and the larger particles out of the boiler. I'll transfer that in now. Okay, nothing went through, so we can now top up with water. And we're just going to top that up to about the 10 to 15 litre mark. We just want to make sure there's enough water in there so there's no danger at all of the boiling dry. Okay, that's about 12 and a half, right in the middle. We're now going to get set up for the rest of the actual gin run. So we've got our base gin mix in there, which will give a really strong juniper and coriander flavour coming through. But we usually are using a recipe kit that we make. There's about 5 different varieties that you can try, including an Australian gin, the blue botanical gin, the Dutch gin, and the London Dry. You can, of course, use your own mixtures, but these are a really good starting point, and it's quite obvious what sort of style they're trying to emulate. So from one of these kits, I've put most of the larger seeds into the bathtub gin that we've left behind now. So you can see we've got the seeds behind, and most of the finer stuff, along with some of the bigger material, have gone into our gin basket. When our ethanol steam passes through the gin basket, it'll lift a lot of the oils and come through in our distillation, our final product, and it'll provide a little bit of freshness with those flavours. Citrus fruits, anything that's got an oil base are very good in gin baskets. All right, I'll get set up our pot run now. So we're going to be using our dome for this run. Having the pot condenser just straight on the lid of the boiler works fine too. What we're going to do is the gin basket slides up. There's got a little hook on the end that's bent slightly. That'll slide up, quick twist, and it'll sit quite nicely on the thermo well that comes through. So all the steam coming through has to go past the gin basket. We're also on this run going to be using our water cooled proofing parrot. I've got a perch for that comes with the kit, and I'll explain a little bit more about that as we go on. I have to mention that first because the parrot will need to go underneath. And the silicone seal always on the bottom. Once we've got everything securely tightened down, we can actually turn the boiler on. While we're doing that, we can get the rest of our equipment sorted out. So we can actually start fitting the parrot in. And what we want to try and do is position everything so that the drainage goes straight in the collection cup, which will then go through inside the parrot where there's a coil. And that coil will has cold water running through it, so that we actually will be cooling our ethanol down to around 20 degrees, which will make it mean that we can actually use our oximeter to do live readings without having to do any corrections. I'm going to hook up the water flow to it first. Now, anything that we're cooking up before the condenser should be hooked up to the cooling device first. This only has to cool a very small volume, whereas the water coming out of the condenser would be roughly about between 40 and 50 degrees, which wouldn't be doing a cooling job on our parrot. I'm going to connect those now. It doesn't matter which side they go on. And now I'm just hooking up the connector from the cooling parrot to the condenser, to the pot condenser, and that is actually included in with the parrot kit. On the parrot kit, we've got the outlet here where the cooled spirit will come out. We've obviously got the collection cup, the coil that's in there, and then we've got a dump valve at the bottom. Basically, the idea is that we would sit our alcometer inside the parrot in the coil, and once we've got spirit coming in there, that'll pop up and give us a live reading of what alcohol percentage we've got coming out of the pot. Really handy for when we're doing gin runs, when we want to collect to a certain amount of alcohol spirit at the end. We wouldn't use this for when we're doing like a whiskey distillation or bourbon or anything with grains where we're doing a certain amount of cuts and we want to actually take the samples from the cuts. As the volume of the parrot is about 300 to 400 ml, and usually when we're taking cuts it'd be 200 to 250 ml, there'd be too much smearing coming from that volume in there when we dump it from the valve. There is a way that we could actually dump the whole lot, but then your cut sizes would be increased quite a bit. When we put the gin basket into the pot, we used our 150 ml version. We also do a 270 ml version, which when filled with botanicals would produce a lot of flavour, but it would only be suitable for use with a dome. If it just had the lid on, it would be dangling in the wash. The last thing we've got to do is put on our thermometer onto the back. These all come with the kit, and they just slide in. They will be a tight fit, but they should nearly go all the way with only a small bit of the needle showing. All right, we'll wait for that to warm up, and we will get the rest of it organised. See you soon. Okay, our boiler's now firing away. It's boiling nice and vigorously. We've got everything happening. I turned the water on after about 15 minutes from turning the boiler on because it's quite empty. It came to the boil after about 20 minutes, and you can see now that we've got a nice action coming through. Basically, when it started filling the cup, it needed to fill this whole cylinder before it actually started. The alcohol-meter started to float, but you can see we're now producing at about 65% ABV. When we first started, it was about 75. As we go through the process, more and more water steam will be travelling up and mixing, and this will start. The alcohol-meter will start getting higher and higher as the ABV collected will be lower. We know that we've put in about 2.5 litres of our gin bathtub mix. We're expecting to get about 2.5 litres back. With gin, it's a little bit of a guesstimate to how much we collect. It's based on the flavour that you're trying to get out. If you want a very strong gin, collect 2 litres. If we want a weaker version, we can collect a little bit more. I'm going to be tasting a little while and probably collecting down to about 10 to 15% because I like my gin to be a little bit stronger. On this run, I didn't collect anything as 4 shots to discard, remembering that we are using a pure ethanol that has been generated from our reflux still, and that we filtered. So there's no rubbish in here. It's just the pure flavour coming through from the berries. We also started collecting at about 58 degrees because we're getting a bit of a mixture coming through. It's not like our reflux still, where it'll settle at one temperature, a steady 78 degrees, and keep pumping it out for 2 hours. This will start from, let's say, depending on what you're doing, from anywhere from 55 degrees, and will run all the way up to 99 degrees if we allow it. We have no reflux action in this system whatsoever. It's a straight, the boiler's turning the liquid inside into a vapour. The vapour is travelling up the column, picking up some of the gin botanicals that are in the basket, hitting the coil and coming out straight up. So there's no reflux action, which would make the ethanol percentage a little bit higher. So it's going to start quite high as the ethanol is a big percentage of the contents of the boiler. As those ethanols being collected, it's becoming less and less, and we'll get more and more water vapour coming up and being turned into here. We can already see that we are now got down to 60% in our collection. We'll let this run for a little bit longer, and we might talk about a few other bits and pieces that we can be making. With our gin botanicals, it's very nice and simple because we're using an ethanol base and we're not fermenting anything. If we wanted to make a rum, which is quite easy, a good recipe for the rum is using one of our rum yeasts with 2.5 kilos of molasses and about 4 kilos of sugar. Put them together and ferment them very hot. They like to run above 30 degrees, probably about 35 degrees would be best to generate those real rum notes that you're trying to collect. When we do this, we would then of course collect our heads and 4 shots, and we've got on this graph we can see how the whole vapour and main body of our spirits come through and are collected over time. We could do this as cuts, But with rum, we're going to be probably mixing everything together at the end anyway, and we're going to then put that onto some rum chunks, as here, which will then impart the colour and a little bit of extra flavour as well. If you determine to collect cuts, I'd probably make these cuts for rum quite large. If we're doing a whiskey run, we'd use our whiskey yeast, and that would go into the results of a mashing run that we've done, turning the grains and the starches from the grains into sugars, which we need to actually hold at a certain temperature, and will be the feature of another video that we'll do a little bit later down the track. Okay, so this is our basic setup. We've got the proofing parrot to make life easy for us to see how we're going with the ABV of what we're collecting. I can have a quick look and straight away see without my glasses that we're about 45%. We'll be stopping it in probably about 10 to 15 minutes. Some people choose to use a sight glass in between the dome and the pot, and some people use this as the actual gin basket using some mesh screens. If you're going to do that, make sure there's very minimal powders and small material in here, as it tends to create a bit of an airlock, and then you can get some burping happening through that process. We also have bubble plates, which some people choose to put in just to bring in a little bit of variation into the whole system. It's all part of the fun that you can have with the whole system. Okay, we collected very close to about 2.5 litres. The temperature's right up to nearly 99 degrees. And when we look at our alcometer, we are just below 20%, so sitting around 18% at the moment. And when we taste the spirit coming out, it's very, very plain. There's not very much gin flavour left in that output. So I think for us, we're going to call it quits there, and then we'll measure what we've collected, and we can give a report back. Okay, we've decanted the rest of our spirit. We filled up our trial jar, and we're reading just a touch over 40%. So all in all, a great gin run, and the aroma is bang on for what we're looking for. I hope this has given you some good ideas, and thank you for watching. All the best.